Hello there, dear Gemini. This is your love reading for the month of September. The intention is you get the message that you're meant to hear, and I hope it's a message which brings value to you. And if you wish, you're more than welcome to like and subscribe. Thank you. I'll begin now. Let's see what message you get. One thing I would add, I will be talking in terms of you and them, but the energies are mutable. You can relate to either energy. It's not super fixed. So this is a situation where you're feeling quite total. You're quite on the edge right now. It might be the case that for the other person it's a little bit less serious than you, and perhaps you know that. And perhaps it's a situation where you need to let go of perhaps prior perceptions that held you back. Perhaps you are fine just being you, just living your life, and perhaps you need to accept that you are you. And perhaps inside maybe, that your level of involvement is in excess of theirs. There may be strong elements of creativity in this relating. Perhaps this situation has drawn you closer to your creative side. And perhaps you're starting to feel ready. Perhaps this person has certain perceptions on who you are, and they perhaps they're living in a realm of relative fantasy without sounding too rude. Let's get some further insight. So this person may be making a trip to nature at the moment. Perhaps they've literally gone hunting. They've gone perhaps for an adventure away from yourself. You do feel like you want to make a commitment to this person, and you are on edge in some sense, or you're at the peak of your senses. Yeah, peak of your senses would be a good way to phrase it, actually. So the message was that you're ripe, and now the message is that you're ready. So if you do want to make a higher connection with this person, perhaps to make some kind of proposal, you're ready for that. Let's get some further insight. Yeah, there does feel like they're on some kind of trip at the moment. They are away. Perhaps they've gone into nature and taken a step a little further from this situation. Regarding your energy, harmony is possible with this person. You can attain that. Earlier I was saying about perhaps there's a divergence in your level of relation and theirs. It does feel they've taken a bit of a step back, but that may be to refocus. Right now you are a bit serious, but maybe you don't need to be quite that serious. So this person does also focus on their career, and or perhaps that might be an issue in this relationship. Perhaps they're not quite at that financial readiness, but they are willing to engage into this, in case you're curious. They are willing to invest into this. So regarding seriousness, you might not feel they're so they might be quite laid back, and you might question their level of seriousness. For you, this is there is something spiritual about this connection. Let's get some further insight. There is something spiritual that can bring you harmony. Let's get some further insight. So, regarding your feelings of totality, there have been bites, there have been stubbornness, perhaps more so on your part in this situation. But you have had recognition, you have had social recognition, financial recognition as well, perhaps. But the message is you can be a bit playful. You can afford to be a bit playful. You don't have to be entirely serious. Maybe consider that. They do want to relate into this. So, regarding their non-seriousness, you might feel they're a little irrational and complacent. Perhaps they come from a financially abundant background. Perhaps they're taking it a bit too easy. Perhaps they're a bit on the edge. Maybe they have some kind of drug addiction. And or they're not that serious, they're quite, yeah, you feel they're quite not serious. Yourself, on the other end, you're much more earthly, quicker to push, perhaps, than they are. They may not have to work particularly hard. You may not feel they're particularly ambitious. They are quite comfortable. But there is a chance for you to be potentially happy in this situation and harmonious. Perhaps right now it's detrimenting your harmony, but there is potential for that. This person may be regathering their strength, their resolve with this retreat type energy that they've gone on, and they may be building themselves to reconnect. You do feel a connection with this person. You both bring out some level of something good within each other. You're certainly a little more serious than them, but there is something about you being ready for this connection. In case you're questioning that, you are on edge. There is a mystical element to this relation. It may be that you explore yourself and you find a feeling of freedom, potentially, that you never expected, for example, but there is potential for a spiritual connection with this person. If you need advice from others, you should take it. If you're feeling too far on the edge, you should take some advice. They are on a bit of a break. They are gathering themselves. They are a little less serious than you. They do live in some kind of delusion. They are willing to relate, but they are withdrawn from this, it feels, for the time being. You do want a higher connection. You do have a connection, but you do feel alone. You do feel alone right now. You feel a connection with them, but you feel separated. Because they are away. They do see you as an energy they can have a future with. Potentially the mother to their future child, or the father to their future child. Right now they are, in some sense, perhaps away in nature. Perhaps they do feel perhaps they away in nature, and or there could be some element of their mother involved in this situation. My feeling is they do see you as having either a motherly type energy, perhaps. For the time being, you don't have to be entirely stuck on this person. You can ask others, you can expand your horizons and enjoy the company of others as well. They are certainly a hell of a lot less serious. They are quite unserious. But they do feel something in this. They are on a bit of a break. But they are less serious than you. There is potential for connection between you. You do want them. And their energy could potentially be quite healing. If they have material wealth, that could help too in some way. Right now, you are quite stressed. And what you need to do is gain a little bit of a new perspective and perhaps look beyond initial horizons, look to others for advice or company, and perhaps even in a spiritual sense, perhaps a retreat or, dare I say, even a party. You can enjoy. You do feel alone, left alone in this situation. They are on a break. They are somewhere, perhaps in nature, perhaps hunting. Perhaps they're a hell of a lot less serious than you. But they can potentially have a healing energy be a healing energy towards you. But right now, you need to widen your horizons and enjoy a bit. You can have harmony, you can have enthusiasm, your prayers can be answered. You are ready, you do, but this person isn't going to be ready tomorrow. You will have to wait for them. They are gathering themselves. They can potentially be a healing energy towards you. But for this immediate stress, you need the stressful period where you're feeling quite total, you need to open yourself up, enjoy the company of others. They're not going to be ready tomorrow. They're going to make you wait. They are on some kind of trip. Dear Gemini, I will pull one final card. Perhaps you need to reconsider whether this is the person for you. Despite your connection you feel towards them, or you definitely gone through perhaps an argument or some kind of fight with them. You need to broaden your horizons your prayers can be answered perhaps in others. Be willing to ask for help if you need that. Join others, you're ready. Perhaps this person's always going to be a bit unserious, a bit disconnected. They can potentially be healing for you, or they're healing themselves with this trip, with this gathering themselves. Thank you, dear Gemini. I hope you've gained something from this. I hope it will be useful for you, and you're more than welcome to subscribe and stay connected. My email is in the description should you wish to connect with me, and you're more than welcome to stay connected. Thank you, dear Gemini. All the best.